So first thing is that there's basically two kinds of orchids that are here in the house. And I'm separating them out not by what species of orchid they are, but how they're potted. So some of the orchids that we have are inside of a pot, but inside of that pot's another pot, like this, that allows them to drain really well. We have some of those, but in the cases where I ran out of those little inside pots that are for draining, we have them in other kinds of pots. And this is really sort of an experiment to see if I can keep them growing and healthy and happy this way. So in either case, let's just do one of the ones that's got the little inside pot first, because those are all going to be the same. So you're going to put some water in the sink. It should be room temperature water, and you probably need 3 or 4 inches of it in there. And into that you're going to put 1 scoop of this stuff. And I'll leave this stuff sitting on the counter for you. If it's not in the counter, then I'll have it in the cupboard that is right next to the fridge. And you can just poke around until you find the spots. Anyway, you're going to put 1 scoop of this in here, which I've already done. And then once you've got the scoop in here, you're going to kind of dissolve it until it kind of, well, stir it till it all dissolves. And that's all there is to it. So then you're going to take, on these that are inside of they're inside of a pot, you're going to pull it out of its big pot. And if you feel like it, if there's any of these that are just super dried out and you can just tell they're not alive anymore, you can pull them off and just throw them out. You don't have to, but you can. Anyway, then what you do is really super fancy. You're going to dunk them in the sink. Okay, you're going to splash water in the pot until it's just absolutely waterlogged. In fact, you can just let it sit in there for a second. The directions always tell you not to do that, but I do that all the time, and it seems to work out great. Oh, look at this poor little guy. It's so desiccated. I haven't watered it in a while. I hope it lives. Oh, you can see the air bubbles coming out. We're going to let that guy sit in there for just a minute. And I know that the stems on these need to be chopped off, but I'll do that myself later. I can pull off some of these. The old ones, if they don't just come off, then leave them alone. They'll come off in their own time. Anyway, just dump them right in the sink. And then after they've sat in there for a bit, I can tell that everything in there is really super waterlogged. Yeah, there's everything inside of there is moist. I just put it in the other side of the sink and let it sort of drain out. Let that sit there a second longer. While they're sitting in the sink, I take the spray gun and I give them a little shower, just in case all their leaves didn't get wet. You could also do this during the week, like about halfway during the week. You're going to water them about once a week. But halfway during the week, you can take the little spray bottle and just spray the whole thing. Imagine that these Anyway, so what I'm gonna do with this guy is I've put a bunch of water in there, probably more than it can handle, and I'm gonna put my hand on it, and I'm gonna drain all the excess out. I don't want water sitting in the bottom of this guy. Yeah, my job with this shirt's also crazy, way too crazy. I can't find any of those little plastic pot thingies for growing orchids, otherwise I would transplant them into that. And that's it. Let them drain for a bit. You take them and you put them. The other one? Oh, the other one, it gets done just like these. So you put them back in his pot. This guy was in this pot, and you dry off the outside pot, and you put him back where he belongs. And I think for Denver, we've been extremely successful in growing our orchids. So this might not be the right way to do it, but it works for us. Oh, by the way, there's this bucket of succulents that sits on the front porch. And while you're doing this, if you want to take it and dump it in the sink as well, and just soak it, then let it drain, that'll be fine. And you can then take this water and put it straight down the garbage disposal, turn the garbage disposal on, and it'll eat up all those mushrooms. That's it. Thanks for taking care of the plants. Alright, welcome to Taking Care of the Worms 101. So if you're taking care of my worms, it's probably not going to be for that long a period of time, probably not going to be for more than a month or so, and the worms are pretty self-sufficient over that amount of time. There's only one thing that you have to do while we're gone to make sure that the worms survive until we get back, and we'll get to that at the end. But let's say you just want to have fun with the worms in the meantime. You want to give the worms a thrill. You want to feed them, give them something yummy. You want to do that, just take off the lid, and there's a couple of hitchhikers on here. And just gently flick them back in there. You don't want to injure your worms. This stuff on the top here is all called chelate, and it's the good stuff that worms make when they're done with your food. Anyway, isn't that another word for crab? Yeah, it's worm crab, it is. So on the top of the bin, there needs to be some flat pieces of newspaper. It can be colored newspaper or black and white, but it needs to not be waxed. So I just put the little wormies back in there. Get back in there, get back in there. Alright, so underneath the flat sheets of newspaper, there should be shredded pieces of newspaper, and I've covered the entire surface of that. That newspaper, again, can be colored or whatever, but it needs to be pretty damp. The worms, I mean, think about it, they like to be underground. In general, where you find worms underground is where the soil is pretty moist. That's where they're happiest, so that's where we're going to give them. So then the question is, well, what's going on underneath here? So under here, you find all kinds of cool stuff. I can't smell anything. What are you talking about?
You also can't smell asparagus.
It doesn't smell.
Yes, it does.
What does it smell like?
It smells like crap,
It
okay?
does not smell like crap. It smells like dirt.
No.
Yeah, it smells like dirt. So it turns out, uh-oh, there's a sticker in here, and that little poor little worm stuck under the sticker. Why is that in there? So it turns out that the worms love fruits and vegetables. So give them pretty much as much fruits and vegetables as you can. And in particular, they love banana peels. They love banana peels so much that when they're ready to breed, they don't eat the banana peels, and instead they put their eggs on it. So if you get in real close, I don't know if you can see it,
Wait. There we go.
but the wormies have covered this banana peel with these little white speckly things. Can you see them in the camera? That's their eggs. So they are super
I
happy.
can see them extremely well. Do you want to see them?
No, I'll look at it later. So they're on the end up against the black. You can see even better. So they really do like the banana peels. They like anything that's not acidic. They do not care for pineapple, oranges, limes, lemons. They also don't care for anything that has a really strong smell. So no garlic, no onions, nothing like that. Sometimes I accidentally throw them the greens on the onions, like on a scallion. But
They don't like mangoes either.
no, it's too acidic for them. They don't care for that, and they certainly can't eat the core. But when we want to feed them, what we do is we try to cut the stuff up. Here's some cabbage leaf. It looks like they're ambivalent about the cabbage leaf. They may not eat that. We'll have to see. But in here, I've got a pear that had sort of gone bad. We're not going to eat it. So I'm just going to take the pear and I'm going to, sort of distribute it.
In one corner.
I'm going to do it in one corner. And the reason I'm going to do it in one corner is because tomorrow or the next time I come to feed them, I'm not going to go to this corner. I'm going to go to that corner and this corner and this corner. So
And then you get to see what they like.
that's how we're figuring out what they like. Don't give them anything fat, anything oily, no meat, no eggs, nothing like that. If you cook some eggs though, and you rinse out the shells and kind of crumble them up and throw those in here, they do like the egg shells. Yeah, so nothing fatty. And on the lid of the Worm Factory box, it gives you sort of an idea of the kinds of things they don't want to eat, but nothing acidic. They don't care for that at all. Anyway, so then you just kind of crumble it back over here. And if you want to see what's going on this side, look at all those worms in there. They are just so happy they can hardly stand themselves. Look at them. They're happy, happy, happy worms. They're getting big and fat, and we've already had 2 generations grow through here, and I've only had this since Mother's Day. It's not grody, it's living, it's gorgeous. So
You're also a scientist. Your argument is now invalid.
it's just light, it's beautiful. And instead of throwing all of our scraps into the garbage, we're throwing them in here, and then they'll get, turned back into something that we can use to feed the orchids and the other plants in the house. So when you get done, oh, there it is. Hold on a second. When you get done, make sure that this is just moist, okay? Since we live here in Denver, I've never had a problem with this being over moist. I've only had a problem with it getting a little crispy, so don't be shy with the water. And then as you put the 4, I usually have 4 of these kind of quarter sheets that come from the newspaper. Wet that down really nice. Because you got to keep their little bodies moist.
These ones get more attention than I do.
They complain less too.
I know.
So from time to time we get an escapee if the lid's just not on right, and I don't know what that's about because they should not want to be out here. It's light out here, and worms are supposed to want to be in the dark. So I figure that it's an issue of natural selection, and any worm that's crawling out probably, is not good for the gene pool.
Oh, Mom,
Anyway.
it's also sort of like Tale of Despair. Have you ever read that book?
I haven't.
Oh,
Anyway, so here's the list on here of things that they really like.
it's like vegetarian.
And here it says avoid citrus, meat, and dairy products. So anything that's got a lot of lipids in it, anything with a lot of fats, or even proteins, they're not going to want. And anything that's got a lot of acid in it, they're not going to want either. So just in case you're wondering, in the first bin, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that.
Oh,
Oh.
oh, grody.
So check it out. All the worms that were down there, they climb back and forth between the bins. They're smart, so they go where they want to
That
be.
worm is gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, let's get him out of the danger zone there. We don't want to squish any of our worms. We love our worms. They do good work.
Oh, that one too.
So they're,
And then you might want to check the other side.
no, that mushrooms there. So that's what's going on down there.
You kill the worms.
And then if you look in the very bottom, we have stuff, the worms come down here from time to time. And this liquid down here is like the most concentrated compost water you're ever going to find on the planet. And we could take all this stuff out and mix it with water and feed it to our plants, and it's like the best fertilizer you're ever going to have. So if you've got a friend, you can have your friend scoop out the worms down here and put them back on top, but if you don't, it's not that big of a deal. Anyway,
Let me get back up. Say that later.
yeah, worms don't have that big of a brain, but they, in general, do know where is a good place for them to be, and the ones who don't